We're live. Cool. Welcome, team at home. Thanks for joining. Welcome on into Pilates this morning. So this is Pilates 9. Hopefully if you've been doing these classes for a little while, so you're starting to get a bit more familiar with this sequence, starting to feel the strength and coordination, posture, all start to get a little bit easier. So this is Pilates 9. We'll get started in 5 minutes. So as always with Pilates, you don't really need anything except your mat. If you like to use a brick to sit up on or a strap, we will be taking some seated poses, so you're always welcome as well to roll up. If you find that seating is uncomfortable, you can sit up on anything really. What you want to do is just to find a way to perch the sit bones so that the sit bones can just tilt forward slightly. So a really good way to do that is, I'll show you here by rolling up the mat, but like a rolled up towel or something. So you can just find a little bit of a roll, and then what you want to do is, rather than sit right up on it, is sit right up on it and then just sort of shimmy yourself forwards, and you can see it just sort of gives you that little tilt through the tailbone, and that gives you that ability to lift the spine and lengthen. So that's an option there, if you'd like. So yes, this is Pilates 9, 4 minutes to go. Key announcements while we're here. So if you've probably heard me say it already, dates for your calendar, 20th of June, fingers crossed, all going well. We will be having our Rise Summer Party at the farm up in Bowl Hills. So if you haven't heard about the farm, basically Team Downham, I imagine a few years ago now, essentially turned a bit of wasteland in Bowl Hills into an amazing community farm, and there's ponds and polytunnels and a tree house, and it's all solar powered, and it's generally just magic. So we'll be, hopefully when we are allowed to, we'll be holding a little summer gathering there, have a barbecue, bring some provide food. There's loads of food coming from the farm, lots of salad at the moment. So 20th of June, put it in your calendars. And the other one is the 12th of December, where fingers crossed we'll definitely be allowed to gather at the Steel Cauldron. So that's another Team Downham project, which is an amazing Harry Potter themed cafe, which is going to be up at where the old South Sea pub was up in Broom Hill. So super, super, super exciting. It's looking incredible. It is 100% Harry Potter fun and games. So it's going to be game-based cafe. So and we're hopefully having our our Christmas party there. Other things to look out for. So we started our new Sculpt last week, Sculpt 4, like yesterday even. So that felt pretty hard actually. So, but super fun. So Sculpt, we're using weights to just add some intensity into our yoga practice. Really great for getting into those muscles which are harder to access with body weight alone. The other thing that is happening next week is we've got a new Pow Pow Power at Power 15, so that's going to be starting next week. So new tunes, new sequence, and also things to look out for is tomorrow we will, is when Chris and Jen dress up for Saturday yoga, so always fun. So last week we had Acrobat Jen and Clown Chris, we've had Cowboys and Indians, we've had, what else have we had? We've had superheroes, so I don't know. Only Jen knows what will arrive tomorrow. She just presents Chris with an outfit and off they go. So lots of things to look forward to. So that's tomorrow. We've got 9:30 power and 10:30 flex. If you feel like dressing up, that's encouraged as well, but not compulsory. So that's, yeah, tomorrow's dress up yoga. I better get my Instagram started. So I'll get that on. Welcome into the team, welcome on into Pilates 9. And hi guys at home in Zoom. How are you guys? You alright?
Well, thank you. Are you?
I'm alright, thank you. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty perky. I am loving how much more sleep I'm getting here in lockdown land. I've gone into a 10 o'clock bedtime, and then you can just sleep in forever. It's
Oh, bless.
Yeah,
Work will be so hard.
It might be a little. Oh, I'm really looking forward to coming back to a full schedule, I have to admit. The only thing which I'm finding a little bit difficult is not having quite enough yoga in my life. I am missing the team, but are you working from home then, Wendy? Or?
I'm furloughed.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
When I'm back to work, I usually start work at 6:45 in the morning, so I'll need some phased returns.
Yeah. I know, I think a lot of people are thinking like that, aren't they? It's like getting some downtime, some sleep and catching up, and then I think they'll phase returns, won't they, I think? Yeah. But, oh, it's 30 seconds to go. So, welcome on in, team. When you're ready, come on down. Let's get started in a wide leg child's pose today. So, welcome down into Pilates 9. Bringing the knees out wide towards the edges of the mat, letting the big toes come together, the hips come down towards the heels. So you're all super welcome on it. Finding your way down. Letting the chest release down, closing the eyes. And breathe. Starting off here in child's pose, letting the hips sink down towards the heels and starting to find a sense of the spine extending. So inhaling, feeling the sit bones ground down, and from there imagining in your mind's eye the vertebrae start to extend and lengthen. Crown of the head reaching forwards, inhaling. Exhaling, letting the chest sink down to the mat, the shoulders release down the back, the eyes and the jaw and the face soften. Feeling that slight stretch through the hips. Maybe seeing if you can actively slow down the breath, feeling the breath in the lower back. Steady release. So just breathing into the back body. Remembering Pilates is all about slow, controlled micro movements. We're thinking about engaging the muscles. We're thinking about trying to maintain control. You're really welcome to modify and adapt as you need. When you're ready, taking one more deep breath in. And out. And from there, grounding down with the hands, rolling your way up and finding your way to table pose. So bringing the hands underneath the shoulders and the knees underneath the hips. Just taking a moment, spreading the fingers out wide, starting to draw the tummy button in towards the spine. So we're finding a nice strong table pose. Hands under shoulders. So make sure the shoulder blades are coming apart. You're really activating the muscles of the back. Thinking about a nice little squeeze of the abs. Not too hard, somewhere you can still breathe. From there, if you're ready, we're going to tuck the toes, lift the knees off the mat and find our way into a plank. So pressing really hard with the hands into the mat, maybe starting to shuffle the toes backwards a little bit, and that's going to help us engage the quads. If at any time you need to drop down to the knees, feel free. Thinking about squeezing in the core, pressing as hard as you can with the hands into the mat, and we're just going to hold here for a few moments. Deep breaths in and out, still finding a sense of length in the spine, so letting the tailbone move towards the back of the room, the crown of the head reach forwards. Taking one more inhale, exhale, and from there we're going to start to pike the hips, walk the hands back towards the feet, bending the knees if we need to, finding our way to a floppy forward fold. Letting the head and the shoulders relax, maybe straightening out with one leg, maybe with the other. So we're just starting to take a little movement, a little space, thinking about the hips coming above the heels, and from there letting the spine extend, lengthen and relax. Inhaling, lengthening, exhale, letting the body relax. Taking just one more deep breath in and out here. And from there, walking the hands back out to a plank. So we're going to start to take these little walkouts. So just walk the hands as far as you can. If you want to stay more in a dog type position, want to come all the way to plank, no worries. We're just walking as far forward as we can with the hands and then back again. Squeezing in the core. Try to make that movement between this little floppy forward fold and your plank as controlled as possible. So we might be finding a nice dynamic stretch through the backs of the legs. Remember, if you're feeling super strong today, you can take it into an extended plank, taking the hands right out in front of you and then walking them back further. You can take a deep bend in the knees whenever you need to, just finding that little bit of bend to help you control that movement. And you can spend as long as you like in that floppy forward fold. So these little walkouts, we're aiming to start to bring some heat into the body, start to feel that control from the core. So a plank is all about abdominal control. So we really want to firm up those abs, and that's going to help maintain that stability through the spine. We're also thinking about pressing hard with the hands into the mat, making sure the fingertips are gripping onto the mat. So working here for just a few more moments, Starting to just find a little bit of space. One more walk out and back. So we're going to start off with our plank sequence today, and then we'll take it up to standing. It's taking one more walk out and finding your way back to a table pose. So coming all the way into a plank and dropping down to the knees, table pose. Hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Spreading the fingers out really wide. Once again, you want to find that sense of strength, of control through the abdominals. Slight tuck of the pelvis, crown of the head reaching forwards. From there, we're working into our Superman, so extending your left foot, and if you can, your right hand up, holding, and then resetting. So try to really slow and control that lift. So really slow and controlled. Again, bringing the awareness to the abdominals, trying not to let the belly drop, trying to maintain a sense of length down the back body, trying as much as you can not to wiggle from side to side. If you'd like to add in a little elbow to knee drive with extending, and then we're going to squeeze knee to nose, arching, powering into the abs, extend back again and reset, taking it onto the side. Thinking about maybe bringing some awareness in towards the glutes when you extend the leg. We want to feel that the glutes are starting to fire and help with that lift. Of course, if you want to take it further, you're welcome to take either of these two movements from a plank. So you can take an arm lift and a leg lift. Or if you're feeling it, an arm lift and a knee drive from your plank. Quite a lot harder. Remember, just work at a level that suits you. You're very welcome to switch around between levels. If you're in that plank, we're thinking about keeping the core engaged, trying as much as you can not to pike the hips too high. So we're maintaining that sense of length. So we're again starting to build strength in the whole body here, working into the shoulders, into the arms, into the abdominals. Nice way to start to build heat. Just switch around between levels, focus on maintaining control, maintaining the breath. Any little variations. Just going to work here for another 5. So slow, controlled movements, moving with control. 4. Well done. 3. So slow extension and drive. 2. Make sure you're even on both sides. Nice work. Fantastic stuff. And when you're ready, we're just going to drop the hips to the heels, finding our way to kneeling. So we're going to take our little hip thrust and chest open mobilizing exercise. So hips are down on the heels, tuck the toes if you need to. Don't worry if it's not comfortable to come all the way down. Hands on the knees, we're going to inhale, lift up, and then open out through the chest, drawing the shoulders back, squeezing the chest open, strong through the abs, inhale. Exhale, really slowly control the movement back. So this is an exercise where you really benefit from going slow. So we're squeezing our way up, opening through the chest, really feeling that activity there. So stretching out, and then slow, slow, slow. Really feel the core start to fire as you move back. So slow, controlled squeeze, your movements opening through the chest, actively encouraging a stretch there, and returning back. So this is a little mobilizing exercise. We're finding space in the chest. Often through everyday life activities, our chest can get really tight, lots of forward-reaching movements in life, so we're trying to undo that. We're thinking about working into the quads, into the glutes, really important muscles to strengthen for both the lumbar spine health and for the knees. So slowing and controlling, working here for just another 3. Deep breaths in and out, squeeze, and return. Well done. 2. Opening out, stretching out, and 1. Perfect. Releasing there. From there, we're going to take the hands underneath the shoulders, strong through the core, and we are going to press the hands into the mat, squeeze the core, tuck the toes, and find our way into a panther. So panther, the knees are hovering an inch or so off the mat. We're pressing really hard with the hands into the mat, squeezing in the core, holding there. So you're very welcome just to hold there, working there for 3, 2, 1, and then releasing, and then coming back up again. So that's option 1. We're just thinking about building strength in the arms and the quads should really start to fire, and release. If you'd like to take it further, we can work into a bolt. So we find a full plank, Then send the hips to the heels. We take a little micro pulse similar to that panther, and then we're rolling forward. So we're moving from plank to that little plank squat panther movement, working into the quads, and we're working the arms and the core a little bit harder as we rest in plank rather than on the floor. That's option 2. Option 3, we're going to add in a knee drive. So we take that little movement of hips to heels, strong through the core, and then we're going to drive knee to nose, working into the abdominals. So making that plank-based movement just a little bit harder again. We're adding in that knee drive, maintaining stability through the back body. Hands are spread out wide, core is engaged. Perfect. Nice work, looking good at home. So you've got option 1, just panther to kneeling and back to panther. Option 2, plank to panther squat, back to plank. Option 3, adding in a knee drive. Entirely up to you. As always, really feel into what's good for you today. Sometimes we feel a lot tighter, sometimes we feel stronger. Whatever is good for you. Working here for 5, slow and controlled. Take a little stretch next. 4. Well done. 3, 2, and 1. Drop down to the knees, and we are finding our way into a nice little stretch for the shoulders. Right hand grounds. Inhale, left hand reaches up, open out through the chest, and then posting that left shoulder down onto the mat. The right hand can move out in front of you. Just shimmy yourself around. Find a point that feels really lovely for you. We're aiming to find a lovely stretch through the left shoulder, feeling extension through the spine. Not forgetting to keep a light engagement through the core here. Just shimmy yourself around, find somewhere that feels good for you. Working here for another 3. Inhale. Exhale. 2. 1 more deep breath in. And out. From there, coming back through center, left hand grounds, engage the core, back to table, and when you're ready, right hand lifts, inhale, exhale, posting your right shoulder down onto the mat. Again, just shimmy yourself around, find a variation that feels best in your body. So just working into whatever little variations feel good. Do snuggle yourself around, have a little wiggle, have a little play, really aiming to find a lovely stretch through the shoulders, lengthening through the spine. And breathe. Inhale. Exhale. So just relaxing down here, finding that stretch through the spine, through the shoulders for 3. Deep breaths in. And out 2. 1 more. Inhale. Exhale. From there, we're coming back up to a table pose. Hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips, strong through the core. From there, we're going to lift the left foot, extend the left foot, and option 1, we're just going to sweep the left foot forwards and back again. So we're working into the outer glutes, keeping both hands pressing really hard into the mat, keeping the core engaged. Should feel like quite a lot of work for the outer leg and for the side body. So we're just moving out and in. Option 2, you can lift that left foot off the floor, and we're moving it forwards, keeping it high in the sky, a little bit harder again. Really try not to wiggle from side to side as much as you can. Keep both hands pressing really hard into the mat. So that's option 2. Option 3, we mirror the movement of the leg with the right arm. So left foot is extended, right arm is extended. We draw the left foot forwards, the right arm back, and return. So a little bit harder again. We have to work the core a little bit harder to maintain stability. So any of those variations. So left foot can be on the floor, both hands grounded. Left foot can be off the floor, both hands grounded. Or you could be mirroring left and right foot. Really focus on the core staying engaged. Try to slow down that movement forwards and backwards with the left leg. Try to maintain control. Nice. Working here for just another 5. So probably starting to feel it in the outer glute here. Super important muscle to strengthen. 4. Well done. Strong core. 3. Nice work. Almost there. Hanging in there. Remember to breathe. 2. And 1. Release there. Well done. From there, we're just going to take a quick little stretch. Land your left foot outside the left hand. Slide the right knee back. Make sure the left knee is over the left ankle. Right hand can plant, and just inhale that left hand up to the sky, stretching out into a little twist lunge. So our tummy is turning towards the knee, opening out through the chest. funny little stretch down the outside of that left leg. Taking a deep breath in and out. Well done. From there, plant the left hand down, step left knee to meet right, and we're taking that all on the other side. So starting off, find that lovely strong table, strong core. Right foot is going to extend out behind us, staying on the floor. From there, we can just sweep that right foot forward, squeezing in the core, and return again. Focusing on trying not to wiggle from side to side. Try to be really strong and controlled. Perfect. Option to stay there. Option to lift that right foot up and take it wide. Squeeze and control. Thinking about pressing really hard with the hands into the mat. Thinking about trying to really power that right foot forwards. Option to stay there, or option we're mirroring. Once again, left hand forwards, right foot back, and the left hand can sweep back as the right foot moves forwards, and then you're taking it out again. So slow, controlled, squeezy movements. You can hear it in my voice. I'm finding this quite hard today. Sculpt yesterday really got me. Keep that core engaged, spine long. So doing a nice juicy bit of DOMs today. Definitely be feeling better after this though. So keeping that right quad engaged, the right glute engaged. Remember, we're working into the core, into the upper back. Working here for 5, almost there. Take a little stretch next, 4, well done, 3, 2, and 1, left hand plants, well done. From there, landing your right foot outside the right hand. Once again, we're just making sure that that right knee is over the right ankle, the left hand plants, right hand reaches up to the sky. Taking a little rotation, stretching out, lovely deep breath in. And out, opening out through the chest, finding that little bit of space on the outside of the right leg. 1 more, inhale. Exhale. And release back down, perfect stuff. Right hand plants, right knee meets left, tuck the toes, find your way to plank. From there, we're walking the feet towards the hands, finding our way into a floppy forward fold. Maybe a little sway, a little wiggle from side to side, whatever feels nice. And then from there, we're going to squeeze the core, chin to chest, roll on up vertebra by vertebra, all the way up to standing. Perfect stuff. So from there, just coming to face, well, you can face me. We're going to plant the feet down, hip distance apart, roll the shoulders down the back. Just do a quick posture check. So just close the eyes, feel the crown of the head reach to the sky. The shoulders relax. Noticing if you're heavy in the heels or in the outer edges of the feet or the inner edges. And just see if you can spread the toes out wide and find an even distribution of weight through your feet. Thinking about engaging the quads, engaging the core. Maybe a little squeeze of the glutes. We're aiming to find a neutral pelvis. So notice if you have a tendency to stick the butt out behind you or sway forwards with the hips, and just focus on finding a lovely sense of length and stability. Just taking 1 deep breath in. And out here. And release, opening the eyes. From there, we're going to move into a little squat exercise. So we're taking the feet slightly wider, very slight external rotation. Fingertips to temples, elbows coming out wide. Find that sense of engaging, opening out through the chest and engage the core. Inhale, exhale, slowly sink the hips out behind you. Make sure the knees aren't moving forwards. You want to feel the chest lift, and you're sticking the bum out behind you. Squeeze the core, and then slowly rise. So option 1 is just staying here. I'm just taking these slow lowers and lifts. I really want you to fire up the quads and the glutes as you lower. Focus on finding that sense of muscular engagement. So we can just lower and lift without engaging the muscles. To make it harder, to make it more effective, we really focus on finding that sensation of power of squeeze. Option to stay there. Option to add in a little twist. So coming from the bottom of a squat, we're taking opposite elbow to knee, returning back down with control, and then sink, squat, and twist. Try to make this as silent as possible. So try as much as you can to twist with control, and then really slowly, carefully set that foot down. We're trying to build a skill here of controlling balance, so that ability to maintain posture, maintain strength and balance as we move. Super important skill to develop. Thinking about squeezing in the core, opposite elbow to knee. So working there. When we take opposite elbow to knee, we're working into the obliques, we're getting a standing crunch, and of course we're spending a little bit longer in our balance, which makes it that bit more challenging. If you want to make it harder again, you're lifting up, opposite elbow to knee. From there, you're extending the foot, extending the arms, a little bit harder with that balance, and then carefully returning, resetting. So again, we're working into the obliques as we twist, and then we're extending the arms and the legs, challenging our balance a little bit more, getting a nice bit of opening through the chest. Really slow, silent feet as you return. Don't forget to keep that control in the squat. And when you come up to a balance, remember, a balance is about core and legs particularly. So you want to engage the quad of that standing leg and engage the core when you come to a balance, and that's what's going to help you find that control. Remember, the shoulders stay down the back, the chest is lifted, the hips are coming up behind us. Looking great at home, nice job. Working here for 5. So slow, controlled movements, twist, maybe extend, 4, oh, I'm going, 3, hang on in there with that balance. Remember to switch around between levels if you start to lose your balance. 2, nice job, 1 more if you can. And release. Well done, give yourself a little shake out there, nice work. Awesome stuff. From here, we're going to come to the center of our mat, and from there, we're going to step out wide to the one side of the mat, bring the hands forward for balance, coming into a lateral lunge. So a lateral lunge, knees over ankle, hips are coming out behind us. We're stretching down the inside of that extended leg. Carefully, with control, step back through center. And you'll really feel that both legs have to work hard to control that movement back through center. So feel the squeeze of the quad and of the abs. So this standing leg, when you move through center, has to really work hard. So we're stepping out wide, slow, controlled movement back. To take this further, we step out wide. You can control that movement back, and then from there, we're going to take a knee drive balance, reset, stepping out wide, squeeze, come to center, knee drive balance, reset. Try not to lean backwards when you come into that knee drive, and feel the abs engage. If you want to drive straight from lateral lunge to knee drive, that's our extension. We're moving out wide, and then lifting right up to a knee drive at that central point. So a stronger movement, we're spending longer in balance there. Again, really control. So quad of that standing leg engaged, glute is engaged, core is engaged, finding that lovely sense of long spine as you come through center. So really slow, really controlled. Focusing on that stability. That step out as well, we're getting loads of work. So when we step out again, we're essentially taking a moving balance. We're waiting a little while before we plant the foot. Body has to work hard to stabilize. Looking great at home. Hopefully, if you've been practicing this sequence a few times now, all of these movements are coming a little more familiar, and you're starting to see a little bit of progression. So stepping out wide, driving up. Remember, find those core muscles, move with control. Working here for another 5. So we're going to move to a little bit of seated work after this. 4. And then we're going to take it down to lower abs and side lying leg series to finish. 3. Well done, really strong. 2. Taking 1 more out wide. And release. Nice job. From there, we're going to take chin to chest, roll on down, plant the hands, walk the hands and feet away from each other. We're just going to take a super quick forearm plank to bring us down to a lower back stretch. So elbows under shoulders, hands can be interlocked, whatever feels good, strong through the core, knees if you need to. If you're dropping the knees down, shuffle the toes back as far as you can, and then drop the knees. So we're maintaining this line, this one long line from knees to shoulders, and that means the core is under the same tension as if you're in a full plank. If you're in your full plank and you're feeling quite comfortable there, take it to a jackrabbit. Using the toes, moving the body weight forwards and backwards, and powering into the abs, into the shoulders. Strong, controlled movements. Working here for 5 with control. Forwards and backwards. 4. Well done. 3. 2. And 1. Nice and easy. Drop the hips down there. Finding a sphinx pose. So elbows are underneath the shoulders. Give the hips a little shimmy, a little shake around. Let the chest reach forwards. Deep inhale. Exhale, releasing through the shoulders. Nice job. Taking one more deep breath in. And from there, plant the hands under the shoulders. Press hips to heels. And we're just going to, from there, swing the legs out in front of us and find our way into a double leg forward fold. So soft bend through the knees to start off with. Maybe actively lifting the butt cheeks out of the way so you find the sit bones. Inhale, reaching up tall, angling the body forwards, and then start to shimmy the hips out behind you. So I quite like to access a forward fold from this little shimmy back behind us so that we can get into the lower back as well as the hamstrings. So we want to be able to hinge at the hips, and we're aiming to get into the lower back and the hamstrings, both muscles that get tight, and that can pull the pelvis out of alignment. From here, when you've found that position, don't worry if the legs aren't fully straight. We're going to start to breathe into this stretch. So inhale, go around the sit bones, feel the crown of the head reach up long. The whole of the spinal column start to extend. Vertebra move away from vertebra. And then from there, moving the ribcage forwards, maybe letting the head relax, the shoulders relax. Deep, full breaths in and out. So we're here in our double leg forward fold. We're thinking about extending, stretching out, and relax. Lower back is starting to extend. Shoulders are relaxing. Really deep, full breaths in. And letting that breath just carry the body forwards. Inhale. Exhale. Taking one more really deep breath in. And out here. Perfect. From there, we're going to roll on up and we're going to work into either reverse table press or a L-sit table press. So taking the hands behind you, fingertips facing forwards, feet, make sure the heels aren't too close towards the hips. That's going to make it a little bit harder. So start off with the feet a little bit away from the hips. From there, engage the core, press the hips high, squeeze the glutes. Find that line from knees to shoulders and then slowly lower down. So we're pressing up, squeezing. This is all about strengthening the back body and lengthening the front side of the body. So as you press and then squeeze, you might be finding a nice little stretch to the front side of the shoulders. We're extending and lengthening the front side of the body. Option to stay there, option to press, and from the top of that press, squeeze the core, sweep the hips behind you so you're pulling them out between the hands into an L-sit, and then squeeze, press on up. So that's your advanced option. We're letting the hips sink out behind us, squeezing, powering on up. Try to make this as slow and controlled as you can. Try not to rush it. Try not to swing, but feel like you are lowering and powering the hips up, using the abs. So when you lift the hips off the mat and you're pressing really hard into the mat with the hands, but you're also using the abdominals to support those hips staying off the mat. Slow, slow, slow. Controlled. Well done for 5. Thinking about lift and stretch. 4. Nice job. 3. Power, power, power. Lift. 2. And 1. Great job. Releasing there. From there, we're just going to move into a quick little stretch. So take your right foot in front of left, finding an easy cross-legged position, grounding down with the sit bones. Inhale, reach up tall, stretch up, and exhale, twist. Take your left hand to your right knee, your right hand out behind you. Inhale to feel the crown of the head lift and lengthen. Exhale to stretch, stretching out through the spine. Taking a deep breath in. And inhale up tall there, really lift, extend. Exhale, twist the other way. Right hand to left knee, left hand behind you, stretching out. Deep breath in. And out. From there, we're just going to swap the legs around, so the opposite leg is on front, left foot in front, right hand plants behind you and by the side of you, and inhale the left hand up and over. So we're pressing the left hip down, stretching out through the side body, just opening the heart out to the sky, taking a deep inhale, exhale, sweep the left hand forwards, left hand plants, inhale, the right hand can reach up and over the side body, pressing the right hip down, stretching out, reaching out, lengthening through the side body. 1 more deep breath in. And sweep that right hand forwards, inhale, reach tall. And exhale, releasing both arms. From there, we're going to take the legs out wide. We're going to move into our saw exercise. Really fantastic mobility, strength, and flexibility exercise. So it's doing loads here. So what we want to do is find the sit bone. So if you need to actively pick up the butt and shimmy forwards, maybe again moving the butt out of the way of the sit bones. If you want to sit up on a rolled mat here, just make sure you're in a comfortable seated position where the core can be strong and the spine long. From there, we're going to take the hands out wide. Inhale. Exhale, reach left hand to right foot. Inhale, back through center, strong core, and twist. So this is a fantastic way to dynamically stretch into the legs. We're inhaling through center, exhaling to twist. We're getting loads of work for the abs here, so don't feel like you're just reaching from toe to toe. It's this sense of inhale, squeeze the core, find that spinal extension, and then reach across. Really focusing on lift, on height, on strength. Inhale. Exhale, squeeze, 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 and cross. Well done. So we're opening out through the heart, stretching out. We're finding space in the hips, in the hammies. Lift, 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 and extend. Perfect. Working here for 5. Lift, squeeze, and cross. 4. Getting some nice work into the obliques here. Inhale, exhale. So we're controlling that twist. Really feeling the muscles of the torso start to mobilize and strengthen. 3. Great job. 2. And 1. Release the arms there. Well done. Great job. From there, we're going to swing the legs out in front of us. And we're going to move into our little crunch series. So feet are planted, palms are on the knees. From there, we're going to take chin to chest, squeeze the core, ripple down, find that point where the abdominals are working really hard to hold you there. And then we're going to power on up, squeeze up, chest reaches forward, shoulders back. So that's level 1. We're using the hands on the knees to provide a little bit of extra support to help pull us up. So it means the back's not taking, the abs and the back aren't needing to work as hard because we've got that support. Option to take that support away, taking the hands out in front of you, squeezing in the core, rolling on down just as far as you can. Make sure the feet stay grounded here. That's super important. And then we're powering on up, lifting up, shoulders back. So really slow, 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 lower. Well done. And powerful squeeze, reaching forwards. So moving with control. Shoulders stay back. Powering on up, back to center. Nice job. So this is essentially the top half of a sit-up. Sometimes it can be a bit of a rush through this bit. We want to really slow it down and feel all of that power. Lowering and lifting, both super strong movements. Just take one more here, a little lower. And lift up. And then we're going to lower all the way down to the floor. So rolling with care down to the floor. And give yourself a little hug in, a little stretch in there. Lower back is on the floor, knees in towards the chest, palms face down by the sides, back of the body is long. From there, you might need to, I'll just move our hands out of the way so you can see, we're going to squeeze the abs to lift the pelvis off the mat, slow lower. So it looks like quite a little mini movement. We're trying not to swing up, but we're finding that full-on contraction of the abdominals. That's drawing the top of the hips up, and then you're lowering with control. So really slow, controlled, squeezy movements up and down. So moving with control, squeeze, 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 and lower down again. So option to stay there. Remember, try not to swing. It should feel like a really fiery movement. This is a full-on lower ab contraction. We're just isolating those lower abdominal muscles. If you want to take it further, we're going to take a little squeeze, extend the legs at the top, and then slowly we can take a double leg lower. So knees into chest, squeeze, lift the pelvis off the mat. Once the pelvis is off the mat, then you extend the legs, lower the lower back down towards the floor, and take it out again. So that's your other option. We're thinking about squeezing to lift, extending at the top, slow lower. So that is our more advanced option. If you're taking that leg lower, remember you can have a bend in the knees and you want the lower back to stay on the floor. So we think about the lower back staying on the floor and a leg lower because that is a little guide to when we're working the abdominals. We don't want to start to use the back muscles to control that lower. We're aiming for abs and aiming to strengthen there. So keeping the shoulders down, the upper body relaxed as much as you can. As always, welcome to switch around between levels. Working here for 5, so slow and controlled. 4, great job. 3, 2. And 1, release there. Nice work. From here, we're going to roll over onto our sides, finding our way. We're just going to take a quick little side exercise. So option to come down with the bottom leg bent here or straight, hand under head, finding yourself comfortable. If you need to stick a pillow down underneath your hip for support, feel free. From there, we're going to lift the top foot, point the top toes, and we're going to do little leg circles here. So we're going to draw tiny little leg circles, little leg circles, really extending out, drawing tiny little circles. If you can, you might make them bigger. And we're just going to hold here for 10. So make it slow. If you look down at that toe, imagine you're drawing the same circle in the sky every time. We're thinking about toning and strengthening the inner and outer thigh here, the outer glutes. 9, keep the core engaged. Make it controlled. 7, well done. 6, make sure you're pointing those toes. Pointing the toes is going to help activate all of the muscles of the legs. 6, imagine you're trying to reach the opposite wall, so really press out. It's going to help find that burn in the legs. 4, 3, almost there. 2, and we're going to change direction. So slowly circling the other way. Try not to put that foot down. Try to be just as precise. So when we move here with really precise little movements, that is again when the muscles have to really work hard to control the movement. We don't want to be sweeping or swinging. Working here for 5 little circles. 4, well done. 3, 2, almost there. And 1, release, well done. We're just going to switch straight onto the other side there, so just rolling over onto the other side, and we're just taking that again. So thinking about finding head under shoulder, remember that bottom leg can be bent for support, or you can have it out straight, core is engaged, lifting up with that top leg, you're pointing the toes to activate all of the muscles, and then we're taking those tiny little circles. Once again, just tiny, tiny, tiny little circles. Remember, look down at that toe. Remember, you're drawing the same exact circle every time. The slower you go here, the harder the work. So if it feels easy, slow it right on down. Perfect. Working here for 5. Really slow. Really controlled, pointing out with those toes, squeezing the core. Slow, 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 slow. 5. Well done. Slow it right on down. 4. Tiny little circles. Remember, you're pointing, activating all of the muscles of the extending leg. 3, 2, and 1. Change direction, working the other way. Tiny little circles, really controlled, really powerful. Squeeze, keep that glute engaged, the core engaged. We're almost there. Another 9, 8, well done. 7, slow, 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 slow. 6, hang on in if you can. 5, 4, almost there. Point those toes. 3, 2, and 1. Release. Nice work. Rolling onto your back, lower back on the floor, finding the start of a bridge position. And we're going to take the left ankle to the right knee, supine pigeon to stretch. You're taking the hands through to the back of the right leg, or all the way around underneath that right shin, finding that lovely big stretch down the back of the left leg. Shoulders are relaxing, spine is long along the mat. Inhaling. And exhaling, finding that lovely big stretch right down through the back of the right leg, maybe a little bit into the right glute as well. Inhaling. Exhaling there. Shoulders are relaxing, spine is long, deep breaths in. And well done. So just stretching in there for 3. Inhale. Exhale. 2. 1 more really deep breath in. And out. From there, swapping over, taking your right ankle to the left knee and taking the hands through and taking underneath the left thigh or the left shin. Stretching in there, inhaling. Exhaling. So lovely big deep stretch right down the back of that right leg. Shoulders relaxing. Deep inhales. Exhales. So stretching out there for 5 deep breaths in. And out 4. Inhaling. Exhale 3. So relaxing down 2. 1 more inhale. And exhale, release there. So taking the hands to the knees, we're just going to mobilize the knees, just drawing some nice big sweeping circles of the knees one way and the other way. From there, extending the legs in the air, lower back on the floor, very close to the end now. Final little 5 minutes, lower back on the floor, and we're just going to draw little X's in the air. So just drawing little X's in the air, up and down. And then once you've done one round of X's, we're doing little flutter legs. So it's like you've gone swimming, little flutter legs, up and down, and then we're switching back to X's. So we're taking leg lowers with a lateral movement, drawing little X's in the air, and then leg low movements with a flutter. So it's like little micro movements. If you prefer, you can plant one foot down and just take 3 normal leg lowers on one side, and then on the other. So that if you need to take it down, feel free to work there. Or, of course, you can take it into a standard leg lower, one leg in the air, lowering the other, one leg in the air. So as with all of our leg lowers, lower back is on the floor. You want to just lower the feet down as far as you can keep the lower back on the floor. That's how we're going to access the abs. Try to make these movements really slow and controlled. So taking little flutter legs and X legs makes us work really hard on tiny little micro movements and control. We have to work that little bit harder. We spend a bit of longer in those lifts and lowers. So a really great way to challenge our lower abs, to support and stabilize the spine. Working here for just another 5. So slow, controlled movements. 4. Can take a nice dynamic twist after this. 3, 2, and 1. Release. Give yourself a full-on little squeeze there. Really nice big hug in with the knees. And take the arms out wide. Shoulders down the back, knees over the hips, lower back is on the floor. So we're taking a dynamic twist here. Shoulders are relaxed. We're going to slowly lower the legs to one side and then squeeze the core to come back through center, making sure the lower back is on the floor, lowering the legs to the other side. Only lower the legs as far as you can maintain control. So if that's just a little way, no worries. If you want to take it down a level, heels can be right into the bum, and you can just be taking a little movement there. If you want to make it harder, the legs are extending fully. We're lowering from one side, squeeze, 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 lift up, lowering to the other side. So loads of variations. Really like this exercise because you can get a lovely bit of twist through the spine, mobilizing through the lower back. Try to keep both shoulders down, and you'll get a lovely stretch through the chest as well. Lowering and lifting, squeeze, 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 squeeze. Make sure that lower back comes onto the floor when you come through center. Working here for just another 5. So again, we're getting to the lower abs, into the obliques. 4. Well done, really squeeze the core as you come up through center. 3. Nice job. Up and over. 2. And 1. Well done. Release there. Give yourself a big old squeeze. And take a happy baby. Taking your peace sign fingers around the big toes. Knees in towards the armpits. Thinking about pressing the whole of the lower back down towards the floor. Letting the back of the neck be long. Stretching into the lower back. Into the hips. Little semi-inversion. If you want to kick out with one leg, find a bit of a hamstring. Stretch. Kick out with the other. Feel free. Just a little rock and roll, little stretch out here for 3. Inhaling. Exhaling. 2. 1 more really deep breath in. And out. From there, final little exercise. Just going to take a quick rise 100, knees over the hips, chin to chest, lifting the shoulders off the mat. If you want to extend the legs, feel free. And then we're just going to beat the arms. Shoulders down the back. If you want to release the shoulders down, feel free. If you need to bend the knees in, feel free. We're just going to squeeze the core. Make sure that lower back stays on the floor for another 10. Final exercise, 9. So really squeeze the core. Make sure it's that squeeze of the abs that's lifting the shoulders off the mat. No strain through the head. 9. Well done. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Try and smile. 8. Almost done. Just a little stretch after this. And we'll be done. 6. Awesome stuff. 5. Hang on in there. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. 4. 3. 2. And 1. Release. Nice job. From there, just plant the feet down and give your legs a dynamic windscreen wiper from side to side, releasing the hips, releasing the spine. And then when you're ready from there, just taking the soles of the feet together and letting the knees fall out wide. Hands can come over the head as well if that would be nice, or let them lie down by the sides. Maybe having a little play with whether the feet are closer or further from the hips. And just taking 3 more deep breaths in and out, resetting. Inhaling. Exhale. 2, deep breath in. And out. 1 more really deep, full inhale. Exhale. From there, drawing the knees in towards each other, give yourself a little squeeze and rock your way up to seated. From there, when you're ready, so finding the sit bones, thinking about the spine extending. Inhale, reaching up, stretching up, and exhaling the hands to the heart. Just closing the eyes and taking a final deep, full breath in. And have an awesome rest of your day. Thanks for joining, team. All the platforms. Have a lovely rest of your day. Well done.